Welcome to another edition of BHS-TV News. My name is Jackson Bragman, and this is my co-host, Apollo Tosto.
This month, we have features on the bowling team, punk music, and so much more.
Oh, hey, I didn't see you there. Hey, have you ever wondered about what it would be like to be famous?
Well, it all starts here with the Bloomfield Hills High School Broadcasting Program. Start out by taking a one-semester class called Intro to Broadcasting, where you'll learn the basics of audible and visual broadcasting production. Then, you can apply for classes like the BIF and Digital Narrative Productions. BIF students get the opportunity to host their very own weekly radio programs, while DNP students collaborate to create the BHS-TV News. Talk to your counselor about the Bloomfield Hills Broadcasting Department today.
For Valentine's Day, Chick-fil-A held a special promotion allowing customers to give their significant others heart-shaped boxes with a special twist. Instead of chocolate, it's chicken. My friends and I enjoyed this delicious meal and couldn't get enough. A perfect meal for a couple to share on such a loving day.
Now turning our attention to athletics, Jackson Finkelstein and Reese Bedness have a spotlight on the BHHS bowling team.
Hi, my name is Jackson with BHS-TV News. Today I'm here at 300 Bowl and I'll be talking to the bowling team. Not many people know this, but Bloomfield Hills High School has their very own bowling team. Today I was able to talk to Coach Wittebols as well as team captains Christian and Krishna.
I am Mr. Wittebols. I'm the head girls and boys varsity coach. This is finishing up my third year as the head coach. I think it gives anybody who is not into your typical traditional sports an opportunity to be part of something and to grow as a bowler. It gives you a good chance to make new friends that maybe you wouldn't see every single day in school.
My name is Christian Dorsch and I'm the varsity co-captain of the Bloomfield Hills bowling team. We're at 300 Bowl. This is where we host our home games as well as our practices. We practice at least 2 times a week, sometimes one if we have matches on the days that we typically practice.
Hi, I'm Karishma. I'm the captain of the girls' varsity bowling team. I've been on the team for about 3 years, and I think a lot of people should join the team. It's a lot of fun, you know, you're with your friends, just bowling, having fun, eating food and snacks. Our meets are really fun. We get to play against different teams, meet new people, and just bowl, and it's a good time.
We have a lot of fun out here, and if you're interested, let me know.
Thanks, Jackson and Reese, for highlighting one of our school's more unknown teams, as we now look to Muhammad Al-Majoun for his feature on the Bloomfield Hills High School Math Club.
Many people struggle with math, but in our school, we have a lot of students who enjoy solving math problems. Some of them enjoy so much that as soon as Ms. DeAngelis, the sponsor of the math club, start teaching, the students become very active. I asked Ms. DeAngelis and some of the members of the math club to give me an interview, and this is what I found. I found that the math club was created about 7 to 8 years ago by 2 students that wanted to play math-related games and logic puzzles. Their meetings are usually an hour every other week. I was able to interview some of the students there. Hi, I'm with
Rocco DeAngelis.
Pernille Basu.
Ben Saperstein.
Why do you attend math club?
I attend math club because math is my favorite subject, and we get to do a bunch of fun puzzles and whatever we enjoy. You know, I really like math club. I love math, and I think the people are great, and we have a lot of fun in there.
I attend math club because it's a fun environment with fun people, and we enjoy our common passion to help learn math with everyone, and it's just a good place to be.
How challenging is the work that you do?
The work is not challenging at all. It's a lot of fun. Puzzles, escape rooms, whatnot, and we always have a blast there.
I wouldn't say it's challenging. I would say it's more of a fun type of activity that involves math.
The work is not very challenging. It's more of thinking exercises, and it's not actually a bunch of complex math problems.
How do you enjoy working with Ms. DeAngelis?
Miss DeAngelis is very fun to work with because she often brings snacks or tells other people to bring snacks, and she makes the environment very fun regardless of whether you're good at math or not.
I enjoy working with Miss DeAngelis because she's a kind, bubbly person that helps make math exciting for everyone, disregarding your skill level. Everyone can have fun with these math activities.
Well, you know, Miss DeAngelis is my mother, so I do have a lot of fun, and we get along pretty well, so yeah.
Thank you, Ms. DeAngelis, and thank you, student. This is all about the Math Club. I am Mohammed Al-Majoun, and thank you for watching.
Following the tragic events on Michigan State's campus on February 13th, tributes and positive energy have flooded in. University of Michigan head basketball coach Juwan Howard and University of Wisconsin head basketball coach Greg Gard paid tribute to the MSU victims. Out of the Michigan-Wisconsin showdown at the Kohl Center, both teams held a moment of silence. Duke University also played the Michigan State fight song throughout their campus to show their support. MSU students are still grieving the loss of their peers following the tragic events of February 13th.
We here at BHS-TV News send our love and support to the MSU community. Shifting gears to focus on a lighter story, Abel Toujateau shares some history with us about his favorite music genre.
Punk rock is my favorite genre of music, and its effects can be seen in our lives every day. From the music we listen to the clothes we wear, punk rock is one of the most influential music genres of all time, and you probably don't even know it. Punk rock's roots can be traced back to the 1960s as a direct challenge to what was considered counterculture at the time. Punk culture became a counter to counterculture. When the Mamas and Papas were singing about San Francisco in 1967, the Detroit area punk band MC5 released the quintessential Kick Out the Jams. And you see, not everything was all hippies and rainbows at the time. We know that now. Before we go any further, let's discuss what makes punk, punk. Punk is a combination of minimalistic drums, guitar, and bass patterns with lyrics that express individuality and dissatisfaction with something in society or culture. So when Johnny Rotten sang God Save the Queen back in 1967, he quickly followed it up with the next line being the fascist regime. Punkers were different. They challenged the norms as much as possible. There were no suits and ties, no choreographed dance steps, no interviews given without excessive burping or swearing. They were the counter to the counter. But back to what I was saying. Punk as we know it has its roots in the 60s, but really took off in the 1970s, both in the US and overseas. The Ramones, Iggy Pop, Blondie, and The Clash were all thorns in the side of parents throughout the world. Around this time, the hardcore punk scene also began to take stage along the more mainstream punk. The hardcore scene has been a major subgenre of punk since its inception, with bands like The Misfits, TSOL, The Dead Kennedys, and Black Flag being some popular examples. In the 80s, the scene died down a lot with a lot of old school punkers calling the music too mainstream. But punk rock had a major resurgence in the early 90s with the end of the grunge genre, bringing a whole new wave of punk and alternative bands. I personally consider this the best decade of punk due to the emergence of skate punk, with some of my favorite bands being The Vandals, Guttermouth, Screeching Weasel, and Hagfish coming out during this time. Ska, a fusion between jazz and punk, also became pretty popular in the 90s too. During this time, pop punk became a huge genre, with hundreds of songs being played on the radio every day. This is primarily because of the Green Day making their huge impression with their album, Dookie. After pop punk, there was emo in the 2000s with bands like My Chemical Romance. Then we had hipster rock in the 2010s with Imagine Dragons. And now punk has all but disappeared from the mainstream. It does not seem to be a music counterculture anymore, let alone a counter to counterculture. But punk's effects can still be seen anywhere. But the general attitude people have being more individualistic is very punk rock. I know the genre isn't necessarily for everyone, but I hope that I was able to interest you enough to maybe go give it a listen. Go check out the Ramones, or if you really want to make your parents nervous, go listen to the Stooges. Thank you, I'm Abel Toujateau.
Thanks, Abel. I may have to add some punk to my playlist now. This month brought the NFL's famed championship, the Super Bowl. The Kansas City Chiefs faced off against the Philadelphia Eagles at State Farm Stadium in Glendale, Arizona. The final score of 38-35, the Chiefs win an exciting game with a field goal with 8 seconds left on the clock.
But let's talk about what's really important, the halftime show. Rihanna performed for the first time since 2018, and the show was a complete success. However, she had a special guest with her on stage. She announced on national television that she is pregnant with her second child. Fans are thrilled for the pop star, but were devastated by the news that she will most likely not be releasing an album in the coming months. Keeping it in the family of the Bloomfield Hills High School Broadcasting Department, let's now go to Anthony Doria with a feature spotlight on the BIF Radio Operations Manager, Ron Wittebols.
The BIF has been at Bloomfield Hills High School since 1976. I had the chance to sit down with station manager Ron Wittebols and ask him a couple questions. I first asked him what sparked his interest in radio.
I was 4 years old, and I watched a TV show called Truth or Consequences, hosted by a gentleman by the name of Bob Barker. The fact that he was standing in front of a curtain and he was holding a microphone in front of him and generally interacting with his game show contestants, I found that very interesting. And I said, that's the kind of job I want to do.
Ron loves being a part of the BIF and is always focused on making sure the atmosphere is fun and exciting.
We laugh all the time. There's a sign out front that says Department of Mirth and Mayhem. And if you're having a bad day, you come to the BIF, we'll try to cheer you up a little bit. And we always engage each other on creative projects. So to me, every day at the BIF is a fun day.
Radio is not Ron's only passion, and it's one that you may not expect.
I like to watch trains. I know it sounds weird, but I'm a rail fan. It's one of my hobbies, and I enjoy the history of it. And occasionally, when the weather gets warm, I like to head on out to a trackside place and just sit and watch trains go by. It's kind of relaxing.
For BHS-TV News, I'm Anthony Doria.
Shout out to the man Ron for keeping the BIF afloat all these years.
As we put a bow on this month's edition of BHS-TV News, let's join Jackson Bragman in the Bloomfield Hills High School parking lot for a sporty edition of Parking Lot Thoughts.
When it comes to athletics, everyone has an opinion on which sport is the hardest to play. On this month's edition of Parking Lot Thoughts, BHS-TV News gave the student body of BHHS an opportunity to tell people which sport they think is the hardest. BHS-TV News Parking Lot Thoughts with Tage Smith. Tage!
Jackson, how are you?
Tage, how are you? Tage, what is the hardest sport to play in your opinion?
In my personal opinion, I think the hardest sport to play is football.
Football? Why football?
You know, you look at the agility, you need the strength, you need the cardio. It's like nothing we've ever seen before, Jackson. The field is so large.
In your humble opinion, what is the hardest sport to play?
Football.
Why?
Because you get tackled a lot.
Gabe, what is the hardest sport to play?
I would personally say baseball. I think it's a very hard sport. It's hard to hit fast pitching, in my opinion.
BHS-TV News Parking Lot Thoughts with BIF Student General Manager Amanda Silverstone. What? Mandy, what's going on?
Not much.
How are you?
I'm great. How about you?
Mandy, what do you think is the hardest sport to play?
Chess.
That's an out-of-the-box answer. Why is chess the hardest sport to play?
It's all mental, you know?
Parking Lot Thoughts here with Molly Weiner and Cameron Klein. Guys, how are we doing today? How are we doing?
We're doing good. We're doing good. We're doing
Yeah, Cameron, lean into the mic when you talk.
We're doing really great.
What is the hardest sport to play in your opinion?
I'm gonna say, I feel like football isn't hard, but it's definitely dangerous, so that's my answer. What's your answer? Theater?
No, it's just really weird, but I kind of think like pole vaulting.
Oh, that's definitely so hard.
Tage, who do you think is the greatest football player of all time?
Well, I actually did a research project on this exact point. I think given his accolades, his notoriety, etc., I think O.J. Simpson's got to be one of the top ones.
Who do you think is the greatest football player of all time?
J.J. McCarthy.
Because he's, what do you call him, a baddie? What is that? What do you say that's part of the reason why?
That is a part of the reason why, yeah.
Would you marry him?
100%.
Who's the greatest baseball player of all time, Gabe?
Me personally, I'm gonna go Barry Bonds. You know, regardless of the cheating scandals and whatever, he hit 750 bombs, and that's impressive.
Molly, who do you think is the greatest football player of all time?
I literally couldn't name one right now.
Couldn't name one football player? What about the one that just retired the
I
other day?
wouldn't bet money that I got his name right. Tom Brady, but I don't think he's the best football player ever. I don't.
I think
he's a Michigan man.
I'm a pretty big Tom Brady hater.
BHS-TV News Parking Lot Thoughts with Molly Weiner and Cameron Klein.
Wait, I have another take because I think Serena Williams is better at sports, just a better athlete than him, and people don't agree with that.
Okay, so you think football's the hardest sport, but you think Serena Williams is the greatest
I think
athlete?
football's a dangerous sport.
Okay, so tennis is the hardest sport?
I don't think it's the hardest sport, but it's a hard
Squash?
sport. Squash seems pretty hard. I don't think I could do that.
BHS-TV News Parking Lot Thoughts with Molly Weiner and Cameron Klein. And with that, we conclude this month's edition of BHS-TV News. If you have questions or suggestions for us, feel free to send us an email at bhstvnews@bloomfield.org, and be sure to follow us on Twitter at BHS-TV News and on Instagram at BHS-TV.news.
Tune in next time for more news around the world, in your state, and in your classroom. I'm Apollo Tosto.
And I'm Jackson Bregman. Thank you for watching.